The rate of change in software is always rapid, but these days it's particularly so given the emergence of generative AI. So generative AI, as most people know, is a set of technical solutions that's capable of generating new data in a wide variety of forms. This includes text, images, video, audio, music, code, and 3D. And as we've seen, since ChatGPT was released in the wild by OpenAI last November, this has caused an absolute explosion of interest from enterprises, from consumers, and from governments. For example, SimilarWeb recently tracked a total of 1.7 billion queries on ChatGPT in the span of a month, just an astonishing number. And of course, there are many other LLMs or large language models that are vying for mindshare as well. And then maybe if we zoom out a little, when we look at generative AI or Gen AI, this is a megatrend, a transformative technology, the likes of which have rarely come along in our world's history. We believe Gen AI will unlock massive productivity gains, and we're hardly the only ones. For example, McKinsey recently estimated that Gen AI should add up to $4.4 trillion to global GDP annually. And as it pertains to the software sector, naturally we're in the first inning. I might even say the first batter at the top of the first inning. But product roadmaps are being articulated and monetization strategies are forming. Microsoft got a head start with GitHub Copilot a year ago. And as of January, there were already over 1 million paid users. And in June, Microsoft announced that its upcoming Microsoft 365 Copilot technology, which applies Gen AI to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, etc., that's going to list for an additional $30 per user per month. Other software companies that have recently announced or have articulated pricing include Salesforce, ServiceNow, and GitLab, with many more on the way. But despite all of our excitement for this technology and all of the industry's excitement for this technology, there are some important risks to discuss. With all technologies like this that get democratized and are open source, there is the possibility that bad actors could really wreak havoc in the form of misinformation, disinformation, and cybersecurity attacks. In addition, legal, reputational, social, ethical risks, all of these must also be seriously considered. Job displacement is very much another risk, although we're optimistic that Gen AI for many years will spur more economic growth and higher level job creation. And yes, we also need to have mechanisms in place to ensure that AI systems don't become too autonomous. And so regulation of Gen AI technology is sorely needed, and sooner than later. Having said all that, the ability for Gen AI to drive economic growth, make people more productive, and potentially play a transformative role in solving big global issues such as climate change, drug discovery, and education, these potential benefits we think are too vast for us to not really lean into generative AI technology going forward.